You felt it. That quiet, relentless pull in your spirit that won't go away. The kind that wakes you up at 2 a.m., not with anxiety, but with a weight you can't explain, a fire you can't ignore. And here's the truth. God may be calling you into ministry, and the signs are already showing up in your life, whether you realize it or not. One of the most shocking signs is that your comfort is being stripped away. What once satisfied you no longer does. And places, people, or routines that once brought joy now feel hollow, almost offensive to your spirit. This is not burnout. It's God disrupting your normal because he's preparing you for a supernatural assignment. Just like when Elijah had to leave the brook in 1 Kings 17 because the water dried up. Another sign, more hidden yet piercingly real, is the growing burden you feel for people. You see someone's pain and it lingers with you longer than it should. You hear conversations and your spirit aches, not out of judgment, but from a deep sense of, I was born to help. This isn't random empathy, it's divine agitation. And it mirrors how Jesus was moved with compassion in Matthew 9:36 before he ministered. Then there's the undeniable tension between your current life and a greater assignment. You can't fully explain it to friends or even family, but your spirit feels like it's outgrowing your surroundings. And every time you try to settle down into normal, something shakes it loose. Moses felt it when he was in Pharaoh's palace, but couldn't ignore the cries of the Hebrew slaves. He was called before he was commissioned. And if you've been secretly experiencing supernatural confirmations, people unknowingly speaking destiny over you, random verses hitting your spirit with surgical precision, or recurring dreams that feel more like warnings than wishful thinking, pay attention, because God often speaks in patterns, not coincidence. Then there's the real test. Your life starts getting harder, not easier. Yes, that's a sign too. Before David wore the crown, he wore rejection, wilderness, and isolation. Because ministry isn't about applause, it's about brokenness refined into obedience. Romans 5:3-4 says suffering produces perseverance, and perseverance, character. So if life seems to be falling apart, don't assume you're cursed. It might mean you're being carved out for something holy. You'll also notice your appetite for worldly success is dying. You used to care about recognition, ambition, or making it, but now your heart aches for purpose more than platform, and you're less impressed by charisma and more drawn to anointing. It's a silent shift, but it's how God rewires a vessel before he fills it. And then there's the fear, not the kind that pushes you away, but the kind that humbles you into silence. You wonder, God, me? I'm not qualified. And that right there is a sign, because every true calling comes wrapped in the weight of inadequacy. Jeremiah said, I'm only a youth. Jeremiah 1:6. Moses said, I'm not eloquent. Exodus 4:10. Yet both were chosen, because God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. If you've been hiding, running, or minimizing this tug in your spirit, understand this. Delay doesn't delete destiny. You can't outrun what's been written, and the sooner you surrender, the sooner heaven aligns your steps. God is not looking for perfection. He's looking for surrender, purity of heart, and someone who will say yes even while trembling. If everything in your life feels like it's falling apart or being stripped away, you're not being punished, you're being positioned. If people have walked away, it's not rejection, it's divine pruning. If your dreams feel too heavy for your hands, it's because you were never meant to carry them alone. God is building something eternal through your weakness, not your strength. So here's the challenge. Stop asking for another sign and start preparing. Consecrate yourself like Joshua 3:5 says, because what's ahead requires a different version of you. The time for wondering is over. The calling is clear. And if your spirit is stirring while reading this, it's not just a coincidence, it's confirmation.